So thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining our PDC class. And those who are new we have a lot of new members. I hope you guys take this class seriously. It is actually mandatory class for all the employees to join and learn about something from our leadership team. So today I'll talk about a subject matter which is I am personally very passionate about how to elevate workplace stress. Let me start with some data. Like for this topic, I actually did research a lot, talking to many people, and read a lot of articles. And one of the data came to my mind when I was reading a survey by PwC, I think, one of the top company who did it in India and Bangladesh and whole world. And they asked one of the top reasons for Gen Z. I mean, a lot of you are millennials or Gen Z, which is younger people. That top reason why they left their jobs, and these numbers were striking, right? That felt the job was detrimental to their mental health, mental and health, like 12%, 17%, and then they were feeling burned out at 12 and 14% respectively. So if you look into that, almost one quarter, of people in whole, people who surveyed, they said that these are the two problems they actually left their job, which is related to stress, right? And then I look into some of the other data where 50% took at least one day off due to stress in the past year versus 23% employees age 55. So you'll notice that younger people has almost twice the numbers where because of stress they took the day off. 47% have arrived late or left early due to stress in the past year versus 17% employees in 55. Same ratio. 42% reported workplace stress has been so intense they felt physically ill versus 21% of employees age 51, 55 plus. 33% people 18 to 34 report high level of stress in typical day at work versus 22% of employees age 55 plus work. Now, this data is after COVID. That means it is remote work. A lot of people were working. Still, they felt the same way. What was striking, and then when I talked to a lot of you, I could relate. I could relate to a lot of discussion on management level that how do we make sure that we help you guys to reduce the stress. Now, we actually had multiple sessions. There was external person came in, talk about it. I cannot talk about all the problems. What I thought, let me go back when I was young and let me, review what happened to my career. And from my personal perspective, I would, see what actually was causing my stress because things are not totally different. Like I started with my career in 1999. Now, besides just talking about my career, I actually also talk to many people, right? People I met all the time. I ask them about these kind of things, like what is giving them stress. So let me go back and tell you a few stories, like how my career started. So when I graduated, I was 22, and that time, 1999, yeah, some of you were not born probably, you were very young. One thing was almost like 2021, job market was so good. Trust me, I did only 8 interviews. 5 people came to me after 2 interviews that I got the job. That means I got 5 job offer. What one decision I made for some strange reason, like I talked to someone I like felt senior, and he said, don't take the most, like highest paid salary job. Take one which you like and the established company. So I took a job in a insurance company, Empire Blue Cross Blue Shield, and I worked there for a few years. And it was on World Trade Center. Some of you probably know. So first few months, I was a new grad, fresh, right? Just like some of you are joining as a fresh developer. Remember, my background is on computer science. I was learning C++, Java, and all these things in the college. I knew HTML and CGI script that time myself. So my first job at work, and stress I felt enormous because it's a huge company. Like in that building, 5,000 plus employees, managers, and all these people. The structure of the company was huge, and within past month, I was stressed. I could not have slept properly. It's not that I had to work really late. A lot of support were there, but when I come back home, I was always thinking about what people were thinking. That was giving me so much stress that whether I was right to talk to someone, and etc, something like that. So and then it started improving a little bit slowly. I remember I was always thinking what other people were doing, right? I wasn't thinking about what I am learning. My always thinking process was like, what other guys are doing, because a lot of us joined same time in the same company. There are some senior member. So when I met with my manager, of course, we used to meet every few weeks. And initially, I was given work like using a platform or COBOL. Like it's a old programming language,
Oh,
old coding platform product. So some of the people were doing on .NET, but I was given responsibility doing HTML work and a lot of meetings. I had to go to this meeting, that meeting, and then doing some of the work on COBOL. So I was pretty frustrated, but I remember meeting with my manager, Maria. She was, I still have connection with her on LinkedIn, and clearly she was telling me that, Shahid, don't think about today. What we are giving you will help you to go to the next level. Maybe in 5 years from now, you will appreciate me. See, you are doing certain things which other people are not doing. You are involved in multiple projects. So what is the old programming language? Logic is same. She used to be a programmer. She said that it doesn't matter what platform you learn. Your business knowledge you are gaining, the insurance companies, logic, and the consumer, right? I was dealing with a lot of customer internally, and they were very tough because that's their product for last 30 years. So they were demanding certain things. So I had to be quick to deliver certain things. And that meeting was eye-opening for me. Now, on the similar time, remember, like I had a lot of friends coming from Bangladesh, and all were computer science. Everybody, like we were classmates in my school, and then of course my classmate from the university. And I used to hear from them, they are learning Java, they are learning .NET, right? And I did not have that opportunity too much. I was doing a little bit of .NET on the side. I'm learning HTML, CGI because I used to do a lot of websites myself. It's early days, but my friends were all the time talking about they work on this company and they are teaching them startup company and they're teaching them fancy JavaScript. Remember this time just hitting the market. And there is two-person in our company, who interviewed me. Ben, I'm going to call his past name only. Ben was my kind of mentor. He was rocking in the company, and Eric also. So when I joined, I used to see Ben was sitting there 9 hours a day, 8 hours a day doing like .NET and handling project. But one thing I have noticed that they would not like to meet with people. They would not go to any activity. Like we had activity events and stuff. They were just like, no, all I have to do, work and I'll be fine. I don't need to do all these things. I clearly remember going to band desk, and sometimes you would not bother to go to all those smaller things. We had a team meetings and stuff. You would miss it. You would just code. You say, I'm here for a few years. I'm going to be just doing coding. I'm not here to do other things. And kind of a way in the department, from the younger people's perspective, Ben and Eric were the superstar. That they are the big coder, they will be doing excellent job. So these are like, in my classmate, when I used to meet like those people whom I graduated with, they some certain people were similar story, right? They are talking about only that, what I want to become, big job, I want to become this and that. And honestly speaking, I used to feel that I wasn't doing that good. And that was something which is, I remember from my days in 22 years ago. I mean, almost, I don't even know how many years ago. It's a long time back. So now I'm 45, right? So when I was thinking about this topic to discuss with you guys, I was thinking about where are my friends? Where is Ben? You know, who graduated around 99 and started a successful career. Remember that we are kind of second or third generation. You guys are probably first generation in Bangladesh or India, maybe second generation from your, family, friends. But we were like, when I came to this country, people were doing programming, people were doing, working for IBM and Microsoft and all those companies, right? So, who graduated around 99 and started a successful career. Now, so one thing striking, I started looking into LinkedIn, some of my classmates from that time, not exactly 99, and I looked into some of their, career path, right? So one, thing I have noticed that a lot of their title has changed, and they have changed dramatically. A lot of people are not even so. A lot of us were programmer like that time, right? We did graduation on computer science or some accounting and mostly programmer. And this is my observation. Some of them became financial analysts. Like they joined a company doing coding and then they did not like it. They moved on different position and then they become analysts, like we call it here in US. Um, some of them became product managers, right? Uh, and trust me, when I'm saying my friends and people I know, there are a lot of successful people, a lot of C-level executive I know. My friends, all of them are doing very well in the workplace. Some of them went to completely different field. I found two of my friends became police officer, and they became even though they were programmer, they became police officer, and they became. I saw one of the person in news, like he became New York City police captain, which is like very high position, Milad Khan. So like I was like surprised that he became police officer, and I talked to Milad a few years ago, and he was telling me the reason I just did not like programming job. It's too boring after a while. So police officer in a way more fun. Programmer to CEO, like some of the people I know, they went really up. They started their company or they become one, in like good company CEO or mid-sized company CEO. Some of them stayed programmer to programmer. And these are the people I know personally. I actually met with few of them recently and I was asking them, what happened? Like, why are you still like, do you enjoy that doing the job? It looks like looking into their career, they are frustrated. They just could not find their way to go to the next level. They became where they are. Some of them wanted to be like that. I want to become, some of them, they started their career with quality assurance or QA. They're staying there. They don't want management. They don't want to become senior or responsible person. They want to be, some of them become accounting, to C-suite executive, server admin to restaurant owner, and that is can change, right? Salesperson to senior manager. A lot of people I know, like in sales, they completely went different direction. Like business development they were doing, they become HR, and then they went through it. So one thing I found out, what you start with in your early age, literally in this economy or even current economy, you will not be able to stay in it. Now, let me tell you about where is Ben, right? Some of you may be curious about. So Ben, I remember I used to keep in touch with him even after leaving the job. He became even my business partner for a small business we did. So Ben's problem was he was doing coding. He would not literally talk to people and he would learn. And every time I call him, he's like, "Oh, I have to learn, new things coming up. Like, I have to learn this." And last time I spoke with him, he said, "Finally, I've switched to iOS." You know, and he is in his 50s now. And Ben is not happy, honestly speaking. And he was admitting that he should have learned other skills. Ben's problem was that he was chasing after new technology so much, he did not stick with one technology long enough that he never became valuable for any company. That's his summary from himself. Similar with Eric, who was not actually a people person, end up being switching jobs so many places. I think last time I saw him, he was unemployed for almost 3, 4 years. because he, like what I heard from Ben, that he basically just did not take the pressure of work and doing coding for a long time. So he just took a break and he cannot find a job. So that's my observation. Now, the reason, remember, I told you that I'm not going to, even the subject is about stress, I'm going to talk about one topic here, like the lesson I learned from these observation and personal observation, my experience talking to people. And I've been hearing a lot of managers. I personally spoke with at least 3 or 4 people here that some of you are too worried about your career. Some of you are so stressed about what you are learning. Some of you are so like worried, like, what is my next step? Where, like, where should I go? Am I on the right track or not? So now my number one, advice to all of you is that, right now, if I were me and telling a 22 years myself, that focus on small steps now. I could not sleep. I was rushing and I was stressed out so much about thinking what will happen to my career. Till 2011, I was super frustrated. And even you can ask Shahara here, like, I always think whether it is job or business or anything, like, am I going to be okay? Am I on the right track? Right? Once I stop thinking about too much, and don't get me wrong here, I am not telling you guys to stop having a dream or a direction. But this picture summarized, and I sent to some of you earlier so you would realize it. When you think too much about too many steps ahead of you, you actually are stressed out. Whether you are on business development and what will happen to me, or whether you are marketing, you may end up, you saw some of my friends. I'm not even taking data from marketplace. Everybody, there are too many unknown in your way. There are a lot of things, health issue, financial issue, personal issue. A lot of people I have seen in my career that they derail from career because they have personal issue. They have marriage problem, girlfriend problem, all these other problem, or boyfriend problem, family problem. Many unknown on your way. So accept it, right? Set a goal and it may change. Have that mindset that I became a front-end developer. Someday I may become something else. Maybe a business development. You may like it. Honestly speaking, once I got into the selling SJ Innovation services to companies, I loved it. I mean, anytime you tell me 3 a.m. in the morning, wake up and go on a call with a client. I love being with client. I love being with you guys. That's why I keep going. That doesn't mean I knew that in 2004 or 2001 or 99. I started finding out when I was in my 40s. So it may change. So please try to understand that. Okay. Just 1 second. Sorry, guys, I have to pause because this video. Okay. So I think other thing I have found out in early days, whether it is my manager, remember Maria I talked about, and then I found a lot of people on my way. Some of the people I met, on the way, and even currently I have Tariq Khan and a few other people, Russell, like these are CEO, and having a trusting mentor, right? You have to trust them, but you also have to follow their direction. The problem with a lot of people that there are a lot of people. I met with this group of senior people who work on Microsoft, Google, and Kalpan, and some of them. And we had a meeting a few weeks ago, and they were saying that the biggest frustration I have with younger people that I've been through their career, and I work on one of the top company, Microsoft, right, Google. When I tell them, they don't want to listen. The problem is not, the mentor do not want to tell you the good. I mean, some mentor may give you and you may not agree with it. But I think you have to trust someone, whether it's your parents, and always remember that I realize it right now. Even my parents on certain time is so right, right? They know, they went through this whole thing. So trusting someone, old classmate or even your colleague who is mature, follow what they say. Not everything, but at least what they said that this is number one, follow it. One other thing I have noticed that, talking to few other people, remember I told you Ben and few other people that when you jump too much in your career, this is a curse. Like some of the people switching job, go to a position, right? Now holding that success, like life is a very strange place, right? Where if you jump 5 stairs, you may fall quickly because you are not strong enough, right? Those kids who are even walking too early, you will notice that they fall a lot. So sometimes one problem with current situation when economy was doing excellent, some of you probably have jumped into a position. Now, it's not going to be possible to maintain that. There are people I know that they became certain tech lead and they're now stuck for 10 years. Now, one person I met, he actually cannot get a job because he's overqualified. Nobody wants to take him because his salary is too high and his title is, but his skill set is not good enough. So when other companies are interviewing that person, they're saying, in this economy, in this market, this is the salary we can afford, which is half of his salary. So when you jump too much, when you that stairs I'm showing you, if you cross that 10 or 20, it will be a big problem. So please remember that. Now, lesson two, you know, I always go back to people whom I dealt with, and some of them became very successful. I know a CEO whom I speak lot of time, and he wasn't the best student in his class. He wasn't even doing excellent in his job when he started. He started with an accounting firm. His colleagues were mine also. And I used to remember that, oh, this person, Mr. X, let's say, I don't want to mention, that he is actually not that good on doing what he's supposed to do. But you know what? He made one right decision here. He started learning other things, reading, collaboration, adaptability, writing, numeracy, communication, creative innovation. You cannot be one skilled person, and a lot of you are making that mistake. I'm telling you, a lot of you think that I will go next step to my career, whether you want to become a better programmer. If you don't write good code, if you don't write proper comments, nobody will hire you. If you are a QA, if you are business development, even HR, everywhere you need other skill, how to talk to people, how to convince people. A lot of promotion nowadays is not happening because of your other skill. You could be one of the, even your employee of the month. When Sahara and Madhav are reviewing it, they are actually considering other things. Whether you are culturally fit, you can communicate, you can help others, right? SJ culture. So my advice to all of you, try to learn other things. We have material. We have this class. We have reading session. We have culture session. Even we have other meeting you join with the client. You learn. Some of you, the name I see here, you guys have moved up so much. The reason is not because you are excellent coder, but you join the client call and you communicate with them. That's a skill set. So please don't start with one skill only, coding or your core like business development. You need to learn other things. Some of you regularly miss this meeting or other activity. We have it Friday activity or health session. If you don't have a good health, trust me, no matter how, I mean, we have seen certain people went up higher to the level and they're coming down like this because of the fact that they actually did not concentrate on their health, physical and mental health, and they cannot perform right now. Number three, this is a misconception. I know LinkedIn and Facebook and YouTube created it. This whole new notion that I have to love, like you probably read one of the quote from Apple CEO's book. Like it is, this whole notion of that do what you love. Of course, I love doing certain things, but market will define what. I mean, a company or whatever value you have to create a value, right? you have to learn technology, but you also have to adopt that what your current job requires. Remember, I talk about like, so the problem I see with this, that you are doing certain things and you want to do certain other things, some new language and stuff. Now, there is not enough demand on the marketplace, neither with company. So when you are continuously concentrating on that technology or that new thing, what is upcoming, you forget about your current job and you don't concentrate enough. You don't enjoy that. So my message to all of you would be, in your career, going back, and I actually asked that question to all of my people whom successful. They said, yeah, only 10 to 20% work, which I really love. Rest of it is the job. The life is about actually what people are paying you. You have to do it, right? You cannot go to marketplace and sell grass, right? People want food, right? Imagine a fruit shop owner coming to the market and say, oh, I love getting the grass. I will just give you the grass because cutting grass is very fun, and take it to the market. Are they going to buy it? No, because they don't need grass. They need fruits or vegetable, right? Even though it's hard work. So similar way at work, you have to go ahead and you cannot just think about what I love and I'm enjoying. And this social media has created a notion that some people just put a quote there. They don't even follow it. I know certain people do quote on the social media. They literally don't follow it. Yeah, Gary Vee already went up there and he can mention about certain things, but you don't listen to the whole message of Gary Vee. You just listen to what you like, and you like it, and you go ahead and tell your manager, I don't love doing this. I want to switch to something else. You are like, my daughter has similar problem, and there is a book about grief, right, from Angela Duckworth, and she talks about that. I have noticed with my daughters also. Oh, I want to learn piano. I don't like piano. Let me go to the, and grass is green always on the other side. So you guys have to understand. Now, I'm not saying that go become a TV repairman, right? This is the term we use it in America a lot of times, that if you learn something which is irrelevant, there is not enough demand. What is demand? It doesn't need to be cool. I remember a lot of my colleagues when in 90s, they were learning .NET. Oh my God, Java and .NET. You know what happened? Recession hit. People were looking for PHP developer. I got a lot of this business because it costs less money to make a PHP application. ASP.NET and like Java, forget it. It costs millions to make an application. So who is the winner? So you have to go with market trend also. Learning Shopify is not a big problem, actually bad idea. There are $10 billion investment on Shopify, content stack and all those platforms. Just learning cool programming doesn't mean that you will have a successful career. Okay. 1 second. Lesson 4. I recently read a book from Dory Clark. The book name is The Long Game. And oh my God, it struck me so hard. And I was thinking, I wish I can put this book on a glass of water and give it to all of you. And you would be able to take it and absorb it. Just ask yourself, when you joined or when you started learning something, how long did you think you should take, and how long it took you to be where you are? So that is Akshay or Partha here or Paresh. Do talk to those people. Trust me. People who've been through your journey, they will tell you learning anything in life takes a lot of time. Let's take an example of Mr. Madhav here. Madhav started with a developer, right? Within a 1 year, we told him, Madhav, you need to do some QA. He's like, okay. He learned some of it. Then we move it right away. Within, I think, 3 months, production support, Madhav. Within that, Madhav, half time you do project management. On the fly, he has learned it. But next 9, 7, 8 years, he has gone through so many roles, but it took him a while to where he is right now. So one thing I was reading the book and I was thinking, oh my God, I always assume, even right now, like I think that I would be able to lose weight this summer, and all of you probably assume, but it takes long time. Me and Shahara started this exercising and good food habit. Took us almost 4 years to become where half of the way where we want to be, or 5 years, I think. So the quote which I really like from that, playing the long game, eschewing short-term gratification in order to work toward an uncertain but worthy future goal. Remember, I talk about that you need to have a future goal, right? Uncertain is going to be there, is not easy, right? Working toward your goal, literally nobody really achieve it. There are few lucky people because of luck and everything. If you go and ask Elon Musk, maybe he's not really whatever in his head. Like he probably thought the flying car is or automation car is already there, autonomous car. So they all have, it takes longer time, right? But it's the surest path to meaningful and lasting success in a world that so often prioritize what's easy, quick, and ultimately shallow. Some of you are looking into the shallow, narrow path to the success. It's not going to happen. Trust me. A lot of people, successful people, it doesn't matter whether you are on .NET and digital platform and all these things. Each time a recession will come, a lot of you will be falter apart and it's going to be very hard for you. But those who are thinking about long term, having that mindset, all I'm expecting from you that change your mindset a little bit, that it will take me longer. I'll become a good programmer after a few years, but let me do my job today properly. The first slide is very important. Let me do the today's job properly. What is on my plate? I may have a vision, but the value company will make, it will eventually take me to the next step. Everything takes longer than we want it to. Everything I have made my peace with patience because everything meaningful I have done has required far more time than I wanted or anticipated. Look at me and Shaira. When we started the company, a lot of people I know started similar because it was the trend. Not a single person I know that who started is there. Not a single person. Forget about a size of us, but forget about Inc. 5000 or anything like that. Even not a single person stayed long enough. Some of you, if you come to New York, happen if you're lucky, there is a signboard. My daughter called one of my friend. He's the Queensville president because like the whole school knows that this guy is the president of Queensville. His name is Bodrul Chaudhry. He's one of my best friend. He's a real estate agent. He actually started his business. He was a accounting major, worked on a bank, and then he started restaurant owner, and then he became a real estate agent. He started his business 5 years ago, and he started delivering a flyer to everybody's door in a small neighborhood. For 5 years, he came every week, twice a week, walking around and giving it to people. He sold, I think, 20 plus houses last year, and he became probably one of our richest friend among us. But he played a long game. So it's not IT, it's everywhere. Long game is something you guys have to think about it. Now, other things, this is a picture, right? What the success looks like, but how it changes. Like there are a lot of variables here. So again, sorry guys, I took longer, but I thought it was something which is my personal story.